So today, I'm just not really gonna beat around the bush, other than saying that I wanted to do discussion videos for a while. Here we are. I'm gonna talk about the new sites in Rainbow Six Siege Year 5 Season 3 Operation Shadow Legacy. Now, if you don't know when this season releases, we don't have a date yet, of course, because Ubisoft, but when this season releases, we will be getting a new red dot, a new holographic, we will be getting a 3 times zoom scope that is only on certain small selection of weapons, and we will also be getting a 2 times and a 1.5 times zoom scope. On top of that, Glaz's scope will actually be increasing to a 4 times magnification, which I don't like personally, but that's all I'm really going to say on that, because that's all I have to say on that. Now, these aren't entirely replacing their old counterparts, the red dot and the holographic, that is, because certain guns have access to some of them, certain guns have access to others, and some Russian guns even have access to all three of the Russian sites, along with new red dot and new holographic. So all sorts of combinations across the game, and it kind of makes me think that there might be a possibility that we see like more stuff like this, but I don't know. We'll see. So to start things off with my least favorite of the bunch, that's definitely going to have to go to the new holographic site. Now in the background, you're going to be seeing some T-Hunt footage because that's all I can really do due to my computer being dumb. Also, there are some bugs in the test server right now. A lot of audio things are broken. If you see anything stupid happen, it's probably because I can't hear the footsteps of the nitro cell, or I just have terrible aim. Any of those things could be at fault. But just to get down to it, my big issue with the holographic is that it's it's awkward to use. When you have that line, right, that's pointing straight toward the center, I feel like you need something in there that just how do I put this? I don't know how to put this into words. I didn't script this. It's totally unscripted. Basically, what it comes down to is that it just feels really awkward when you're leaning and then that leans with you. On top of that, the casing doesn't feel great, and I'm not a fan of it. It's definitely not the worst thing. I think that it's better than old Red Dot, but I'm definitely not going to be using this very often unless it's the best I have, which hopefully not. Next up is the 2.0 times zoom scope. This is a 2.0 times zoom scope, if you couldn't guess by the name. Now, this thing feels a little awkward at first, but once you get used to it, it's not bad. If you're a fan of ACOG, but you want just that little bit to be reeled back in, this is definitely the thing you're going to want. On top of that, the crosshair is fantastic on this thing, and I love it so much. The casing is really nice as well. There's not any huge issues with this thing. It's just, I'm not a huge fan of it personally. I do recommend giving it a shot if you liked ACOG before, as a lot of the guns that you used it on probably don't still have it. Or if you used to play Doc for the ACOG, you might want to look into using this on Rook. Next up is my second favorite of the bunch, and that's going to be the new Red Dot, which is my new favorite one-time zoom scope, and I hope more operators get this thing. But hey, as long as they have this or the 1.5, I'm down for that. The new Red Dot is fantastic. It is everything to love about the old Red Dot, with none of the issues being nearly as present. What's interesting is that it's pretty much all the same issues. The casing could stand to be better, but it's much better looking, both in a graphical sense and what's the word I'm looking for? A practical sense. Um, in both senses, it looks so much better on the new red dot. I love this thing. It feels absolutely fantastic, and I cannot wait to use this thing on the live server. It is so good. Feels amazing. I recommend giving this a shot if you liked the red dot but thought its shortcomings were just a little too much. If you were already on the edge, or if you ran it on a couple guns already, you will love it now. I can almost guarantee you that. Next, we have the best sight in the game, the 1.5 times zoom. Oh my god, this thing is legendary. It feels so good at any range. If you're up close, it's not different enough from a 1 times, but if you're in long range, that zoom, might as well be an ACOG as far as I'm concerned. This thing feels fantastic. It has an amazing, amazing crosshair. Like, I can't emphasize enough how good this crosshair is. My favorite crosshair in the entire game, honestly. And it's just so nice. It doesn't come with the huge downside of ACOG or of the 3 times zoom where you just have a lot of trouble engaging in close quarters combat if your gun doesn't have good hip fire. But it also doesn't have the issue with seeing farther away targets, especially if we're talking realistic gunfights. Because realistic gunfights, you're not going to need the ACOG for anything. And the 1.5 is just so good at any range. It's amazing. It's great. It's fantastic. Definitely, in my opinion, best sight in the game. In my opinion, of course, because I do have that. Opinions do exist. Fun fact. Um, but yeah, this is my thoughts on the 1.5. Now, last up, I don't really have much footage of this, and I just it's not good footage. But I don't like the 3 times zoom scope. It's not good. The only good thing it has going is that the casing is basically perfect. Other than that, it sucks. Like it's way too zoomed in. It is way too zoomed in, and I cannot stand using this thing. I don't like it one bit. There's not much else to say. I'm not a fan. It's, mm, eh. Bring it back, please. I like my DMRs with ACOG. Thanks. 2.5 is fine. Another thing I don't have a lot of footage for, but I do have this probably terrible footage for, is Glaz 4 times zoom scope. You can see here, what I didn't realize until now, or unless it's a thing being changed in Shadow Legacy, is that Glaz's scope actually zooms in on whatever site you pick. So whatever site you pick, if it's not iron sights, be sure that you are okay with staring into that at 4 times its size. Otherwise, you're not going to have a good time flipping your sight up. Anyway, I'm sorry this was a little bit short, brief. I just wanted to quickly throw my thoughts out there on the new sights. I literally downloaded the entire test server just to do them, and specifically for this video. So that's just my quick, brief thoughts on all the sight changes. If I had to rank them, I would say that the best sight would be the 1.5 times zoom, followed by the red dot. I'd say the 2.0 and the new red dot, of course. I'd say the 2.0 and the old holographic probably rank up there as well. I'm just not a fan of those two personally. And then after that, I'd say pretty much anything other than the red dot. And then the red dot's just the old red dot's just awful. Although I would say that second worst, like I said before, is definitely the new holo, in my opinion. Of course, opinions matter, preferences matter, and I know people that unironically prefer the current red dot on the live build. So this video should be going up on Saturday. That's kind of cool. But yeah, so that's about going to do it for this Siege discussion video. I'm sorry that it was a little bit short. I just wanted to get something different out, not just pump out Dokkan content, especially since this is happening during the 26-hour maintenance. I'm sorry, 32-hour maintenance. My bad. Forgot the number. But yeah, so that's about going to do it for this Siege discussion video. If you liked it, be sure to leave a like. If you didn't, there's also a button for that. And if you press that button, be sure to let me know down in the comments below what I could be doing better or try and do it better. Unless my mic, which is not going to do to help. If you're new here, be sure to check out some other content on the channel. If you like this kind of content, be sure to hit subscribe for more. And if you are subscribed, go ahead and click that notification bell for notifications every time YouTube decides to tell you I uploaded a video. And also, let me know if you're hyped for Shadow Legacy down in the comments, because, I mean, I'm hyped for Shadow Legacy. Who's not hyped for Shadow Legacy? I'll tell you who. People who don't care about this game. That's who. And aside from that, everyone's hyped for Shadow Legacy. I will see you all in whatever the next piece of my content you watch is, which may or may not be tomorrow's Kirby episode.